Salve discipuli. Today we're going to be talking about ablatives. So we're going to be talking about several different kinds of ablatives, what prepositions they use, and how they function in a sentence. The first one we're going to talk about is the ablative of agent. This one is used with passive verbs. And if we remember with passive verbs, the action is happening to someone. So if we have a sentence like the mother was being carried, this is a passive sentence. The mother is being carried. She's not doing the carrying. However, with the ablative of agent, it gives us who or what is doing the carrying. And in this case, it's going to be by the man. So ablative of agent would be this right here, by the man. And the preposition we use is a or ab. This functions kind of like a or an in English, where if you have a vowel, you have to have that B, and if you don't, you just stick with the A. So the word that follows it, if it starts with a vowel, you have the AB. If it doesn't, you just have the A. So in this case, it would be a wir, and then we have the man, it's ablative, so it would be wiro. So that is the ablative of agent. The next one we're going to talk about is ablative of means. So this one does not have a preposition. And what it does is it tells us the means by which an action is carried out by a person or thing. An example sentence could be, Marcus grabs him by the tunic. By the tunic is our ablative of means. How does Marcus grab him? By means of the tunic. So we wouldn't have a preposition with this. So all we would do is to take the word tunic and we would put it in the ablative case. So in this case, we just need a long mark. So this would be our ablative of means. It can also be translated instead of by with. So we could say Marcus carries him with a horse. How does Marcus carry him? By means of a horse. So again, no preposition. You would just take your word for horse, which is equus, and you'd put on the ablative ending, equal. So that's the ablative of means. Next, we have something called ablative of manner. And this one is going to use a preposition in some cases. In other cases, it doesn't necessarily need one, but the preposition that you can sometimes use for this would be ablative of manner indicates how something happens or how it is done. So for example, we have, he shouts in a loud voice. It could also be said, he shouts with a loud voice. So the in or with a loud voice is our ablative of manner. We're going to use the preposition cum, and then the word for voice in the ablative case, which it's a third declension, so it would be woke, with a loud voice. And that is the ablative of manner. Next is our ablative of separation, and this uses prepositions for the most part, but sometimes it doesn't. So the prepositions it uses are ab or ex. An example of this could be, I am away from school, showing separation between me, I, and school. So from away from school would be our ablative of separation. So we've got ab, and then the word for school in the ablative case. So that's ablative of separation. Next, we're going to talk about ablative place where, and this one uses a preposition which is in. So this is showing us where someone is. So the place where. This is different from the accusative place to which, because the ablative doesn't show motion. It just says where you are located, but the accusative place to which uses the same preposition, shows motion. So this one does not show motion. So in this case, you could say, the man is in the house. So he is in the house. He's not moving towards the house, not away from the house, he's just in the house. So in this case, you would use the preposition in, and then the word for house with that ablative ending, domo. Next, we're gonna talk about the ablative of price, which is pretty self-explanatory. There is no preposition for this one, and it's simply when you want to express the price of something, it goes into the ablative. So if you want to say, it is 10 denarii, which is the Roman coin. You would say, in the ablative with no preposition, 10, which doesn't decline, and then plural, denariis, goes into the ablative. So that's ablative of price. Next, we have ablative of respect, and this one does not use a preposition. And this just denotes with what respect to which something is or is not. So in this case, we have the example, the girl, in respect to her name being Cornelia, is pretty. So this is your ablative of respect. So we need the word for name in the ablative, which is nomine, because it's third declension. Next, we have ablative time when, and again, this can be compared to the accusative time within which, where the accusative version shows an extent of time, and then ablative time when shows a point in time. And this is going to not use the preposition. And again, it's showing a point in time. So we could say, the villa where Cornelia lives in the summer. In the summer is our time when Cornelia lives there. So we don't need a preposition, we just need the word for summer. And in the ablative case, so it's third declension, so it would be E. And that's ablative of time when. The last one is the ablative of comparison. So this one has no preposition, and it's used with comparative adjectives and adverbs. So we have Marcus is much wiser than Brutus. So this is the comparison, much wiser. So that is going to go into the ablative. So we have molto, which is our ablative, and then we need the comparative version of wise, which is prudentior, and that's our ablative of comparison. So there are so many more ablatives, but that was just a little dip into the pool of some of the most common ablatives. So that's all. Wale!